Welcome, audio fans. It's time for another episode of the podcast, presented by J&J Production Studios, your home for entertainment with your favorite shows available every week. And now, it's time to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday night to all. Apologies if you were expecting a new episode of the show last night. We opted not to do that. Busy day yesterday and just needed the night off. So we did take a break. We were hoping to do an extra longer episode tonight. Unfortunately, Big Hoss not feeling well, and so we are going to go to Plan C, which actually is a great opportunity. This affords us to give to you a brand new episode of the What's Up Bro Sports Show. Yes, we are getting back at it. As you guys know, we are working to schedule it out. We want to get some new episodes for the other podcasts that we have here. So since it is just I, yours truly, Sam Crow, with you tonight, decided that this would be prime opportunity to jump back here. A lot of things going on. We're going to talk all kinds of fun stuff. We'll get into that more in detail in just a moment. Just a couple quick announcements for you guys in case you haven't been following the main show, which, why not? You get us a lot of information. There's a lot of great stuff there. But either way, we just want to let you guys know what's been happening there. Newest addition we have there is we have a website up now. If you guys did not catch the show recently, we have integrated that now. It is in our link tree. If you check it out, you can now view episodes of the show there. We have not been able to integrate these other shows yet. It's primarily just the What's Up Bro show, our main flagship show. But we do have the YouTube channel synced in there and everything, and it does upload to the website. So at the very least, we do have the ability to, or you guys have the ability rather, to be able to get links right to the YouTube channel to listen to these episodes. So that's there. We're going to play with it. We might have an opportunity down the road to see if we can integrate the other podcast there. I'm not sure. Still kind of playing with it. It's a new concept, but looks fantastic. It came out really well. Huge shout out to onpodium.com. Actually reached out and had set up a trial for the website. We looked at it. We weren't sure at first. Checked it out. It really just it came out beautifully, and we couldn't be more thrilled. So check that out there. A reminder too for that, in case you guys missed it, and we've been sharing this. We just want to share it again, and obviously, it won't affect you guys too much because there's still plenty of ways to listen to the show. We are now no longer available on Google Podcast. Why that is because Google Podcast no longer exists anymore. I believe we got an information that they're merging with YouTube. I believe, if Day Rumor is correct too, based on the information we received, it's going to incorporate with YouTube Music. So it just means they're consolidating. We might be on there. Of course, we're already on the YouTube. We have our channel there, but if we can incorporate YouTube Music and have a separate way to do that, we might do that as well. I'm not quite sure yet. We're still waiting for details there. But the reason we mention that also is we want to thank you guys. If you were a faithful listener on Google Podcasts, we appreciate you. And again, still plenty of opportunity. There's still plenty of places where you can listen to these episodes at your leisure, at your discretion, whatever you want to do. We try to have plenty of places to do that. Again, still working on hoping to get on Apple Music at some point as well. That's something we've been trying to work at. That's a goal. We're going to shoot for that later on. Let's get our fire going here. It's just me. I know it's not Big Hoss's favorite, but I like the ambiance of the fireplace. Where is it? There we go. So that's something we are going to adapt. We're going to look at, and we're going to see if that's a possibility down the road. But really excited about the website. Hope you guys will check it out. Actually, let me pull it up. I can give you some details about it. I didn't do that on the main show. We probably will do that again next time we go live. Currently, we will have a new domain set up. The domain will be jnjproductionstudios.com, but we haven't officially done that, so it's still whatsupbroshow.onpodium.com. Again, the simplest way, probably just go to our link tree. We have it set up there. You can click on it directly. But some of the features here, we do have the show episodes. Again, they broadcast right to the website. So if you want to listen to episodes of the show there, you guys certainly can. That is an option. It also features, you can look at our all the streaming services where the show is found, including like Spotify, on YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, some others are all on there. All of our feeds are listed on there. You can check it out. So there is that. It has an availability page which shows everything on there. That's kind of an extra add-on bonus there. And then we also have, what else is interesting? We have our Join Us section here. It gives you, again, all the links there where you can catch us and join there. At the bottom of the main page, and we talked about this too, there is now featured what's called the Supporters Club. And what you guys can do, we have that listed there. The link is available below. It is just for the main show, but this can be done for each of these podcast shows if you guys want. If you want to support us, you can get a membership for Supporters Club. It is a donation that we take. It's a $5 a month subscription. You will get bonus content that you can't get otherwise. There'll be some perks included there. It's a lot like our Patreon. If you can check out, you want to support us on Patreon, you can. But this will just help us, just like Patreon. All proceeds go to help us advance the shows, make sure we have the latest, greatest of the equipments there, or any kind of updates that we need, things like that. Is what we use that for. So that's available. If you want to support us that way, we appreciate that. But just you guys listening is huge support enough. So it's just an added bonus. And again, there's a little fun behind the scenes bonus kind of features that you don't get anywhere else, just to give you a reason what the incentive is there. We also do have an About section of the page. It just gives a brief overview about us and the studio. That's actually where you can find the supporters link that's there at the bottom of that section as well. And of course, some links to our socials. You can contact us through email, of course, as you guys know if you're regular listeners. There's a Contact Us button. We do have, I'm going to get to this other section last because I want to mention that, but we do have a blog on there. It's listed as Studio News. We will post updates periodically from time to time. It's kind of, in a way, sort of like a forum, which we don't have the ability with this particular on this website. However, we still like it. The blog will still give you guys details. You can type blogs, I believe, yourself. If people that come use the website can submit your own blogs, you can do that. Talk about the show, leave reviews. That would be great. We'd love to hear from you guys. That's available. And then lastly, the feature we like on here, there is, and we've titled it the Show Guest Request Form. If you guys would like to, we broadcasted this early when we first started doing shows. There is a fill-out form. If you would like to be a guest on the show, you can fill out all your information here. There's all kinds of stuff. Give as much detail as you want. Submit that in. We will take those, and then we will contact you further via whatever contact information you put in, and we'll have you appear on an episode of the show with us. We've had a lot of guests on the show over the last couple of years. Some other guests, which I'm going to get to another announcement here in a second. Some special celebrity guests we're still working on. We have one we're trying to line up here as well. So all that great stuff and more, but that's a great way for us to really touch base with you and get you guys on here if you want to do that. That's available now. So go check it out for yourselves. It's awesome. Again, it's still under development. We're still working on things as they come. We're still learning the ins and outs of it, how to work it, but it's really there. It's getting there, and we've had a lot of great traffic so far, and love for you guys to check that out as well. So backing up here to what I mentioned about the guest list, we actually found this out today, and we will announce this again as we get closer. We're still a few weeks out. Tentatively, right now, we are looking at the last Saturday, which will be our last Saturday show for the month of April, April 27th, our normal time, starting at 10 p.m. We are going to have some friends. You guys know we talked about Dini from Vigilantes Radio. He would like to come on our show and visit, along with our other good friend, Pagosi, who I've been on the show with him and Dini on the Pod Z Quad. If you guys haven't seen that, I've shared that link. It was just on there this Thursday night. On YouTube, you can watch us on screen. You can see us on camera. It was a lot of fun. Love those guys and always enjoyed being there. Check it out. We shared the links on all of our socials. You can check that video out there. Dini is going to send me the video. I'm going to upload it to our YouTube channel once I have it. So if you want to go right there, you can see it as well. But they're going to be joining us. They want to come hang out and talk on the show. So we are planning to hang out with them Saturday night, April 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. TBD until we get that confirmed and nailed down. We're just ironing out scheduling. But that is the plan. Really excited to have them here. You guys have probably heard me. I've been on the show. I've been on their show a lot. Been on Dini's show on Vigilantes Radio a couple times. Big Hoss and I are planning to make another appearance coming up hopefully soon. That was a lot of fun. So check that out if you want to see it. That's incredible. But it's just a great time. I hope you guys will join us for that as well. I think that's all for the announcements. I always feel like I missed something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I missed something. But if I think about it, I'll share it with you guys. I want to jump in here because we have not done this episode for a while. A lot of things are happening, and there's a lot of different ways we can go. We're going to talk about some of the big stories. And if you can't tell from the title of this episode, we have a pretty huge story we're going to talk about as well. But before we get to that, We'll start from other smaller stories that we've heard. Obviously, the NFL draft is coming up, which is always huge. A lot of teams are looking to rebuild, starting younger, growing, and advancing young players to remold and reshape their franchises, potential prospects to be team leaders in the future. That's coming up, as well as free agency. It's been a wild rush in free agency, and probably the biggest story of late was the acquisition, the Buffalo Bills trading away all-star receiver Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans for draft picks coming up. Then the story broke where Houston has agreed to allow Diggs to be a free agent after the season. Why is that? Well, the belief is that they don't want to lock him up yet. They want to kind of do a trial and see approach and see if he likes the team and if he thinks it's a good fit. They want it to be an organic growth for him to be able to determine if he would like to stay there long term. Why this seems really risky too is the fact that Houston paid an awful price to land Diggs. And so normally when you make a trade like that, you want to lock up the player that you don't want to see walk out to another team in free agency or have a chance to just kind of ditch you and run. But it's a smart move, and this has been something that's been utilized before, where teams give potential superstar players the ability just so that they know, hey, listen, it's not that we want you to leave. We understand, though, this is a growing curve for you, and you're not sure if this is going to fit here, because, again, trades happen without their... In a lot of cases, some players have the ability to dictate where they go, but it's not always the case. It's just knowing that there is an ability to be able to know that they have control of their destiny, in a manner of speaking. So, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting train of thought. And yeah, I mean, you know, again, I think that's good. It's good for Houston. We saw what Houston did last year. If you guys watched the season last year, good young quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Had a phenomenal year. This is just another piece they can add. A lot of teams have been making a lot of big moves. Again, obviously it's too early. We're not doing any predictions yet just because until after the draft comes and when free agency finally wraps up to see when rosters finally get set up. Do we have a clear indication about that? But it's definitely huge for them. And again, it's a huge risk, but a huge step to see if in fact it pays off and Diggs returns to Houston, which my personal guess, if we had to pick, is based on the pieces there. I can see that happening. I really don't think that he will be one and done there unless, for whatever reason, Houston just kind of falls off the wagon and, their whole season tanks and collapses and, he might feel there's an opportunity elsewhere. That could be possible too. That's the only thing I could see happening, but I really don't, I don't believe that's going to be the case. So, interesting to see there. Trying to think, what are some other big moves that have happened this year? So many flurries there. Well, one big move that was noted, I consider it a big move, and obviously it's not a shocker because of the relationship souring there. I love the move. The Philadelphia Eagles signed former Buccaneers linebacker Devin White to I believe it's a 1-year deal. Again, they could extend him, but it's just a trial basis. I think that's a good fit. Obviously, there were some issues there. And Devin White there was some friction going there. So this is not a shocker in a manner of speaking because I don't know. Sometimes things just don't work out and it needs a fresh start. And maybe for Devin, this is a great chance. Did a lot of great things in Tampa, helped them win a Super Bowl championship. Obviously, it means a lot to the franchise, but sometimes it's just best for everybody to move forward. I think it's huge for Philly. Philadelphia's been making a lot of great moves. Got to talk about these too because Philly's in this mix too. But one of the most intriguing moves. Couple of moves, rather, I find, and let's talk about this for a second. Again, we have a bigger story we're going to cover here in a moment. We're going to take a short break, then come back to that, but I want to get some of these headlines out of the way. So, and if you're a fan of this team, too, you already know all this well in advance, but how about the Pittsburgh Steelers here? And I'm not just talking mild change, rather. They've really completely revamped their quarterback room, all right? And again, most of you by now should know what we're talking about, but let me clear it up and clarify it for you in case you haven't been following, or if you care to follow sports, maybe you don't anyway. The interesting thing that happened in this offseason is the Houston Texans, I'm back to square one. The Pittsburgh Steelers who have Kenny Pickett, who is a hometown native, went to Pittsburgh University there and was drafted there, and looked like had a great future ahead. There was some rumblings in the offseason that, obviously the big breaking news we saw, the Denver Broncos parting ways with Russell Wilson after just, I think it was 2 seasons is in there. And the interesting thing was, the question was, where would Russell Wilson land? There were several possibilities. A lot of teams I heard, I didn't think it was, made logical sense. The Pittsburgh Steelers were one of them. And as it turns out, the news broke. Pittsburgh has signed Russell Wilson to be their quarterback, signed him to a 1-year deal. We'll get into specifics in just a sec. Brought him in, and immediately the question was, what does that mean for Kenny Pickett? Well, obviously, it could be some competition, but come on, you're not going to bring a guy who's won a Super Bowl, been to multiple Super Bowls actually, to come in and be a backup. So he could stand to learn from him for a year or two. And nothing against Russell's career at this point, but things were rocky in Denver. There's no guarantee it works out in Pittsburgh, although I absolutely love the move. I think it's a great transition. Pittsburgh has some young talent there. They have traded away some too, but that's part of the nature of the business is just turnover. But I think they're still set in great shape, and I think they'll extend Russell Wilson if it plays out. It's a smart deal. Pittsburgh doesn't lose out much, and they're not, like Denver, they're not so heavily contractually obligated to be stuck with Russell Wilson that they couldn't move on from him after this upcoming season if they wanted to. Now, interestingly enough, as things went on further, the story developed that, and this actually happened before the story actually developed. Let me preface that. Then the news broke that the Steelers made a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, sending Kenny Pickett to Philly in exchange, I think, for draft picks, or at least 1 draft pick, which was another gut punch, shocking move. Couldn't understand the logic there. Well, the story broke out that apparently Kenny Pickett had worked his way out of Pittsburgh, was not happy at the Russell Wilson signing there, and determined he'd be better off going to another city. Now, Philadelphia, you're going to be sitting behind Jalen Hurts, not going to start. Maybe he just needs a year to kind of collect himself. Maybe things will work out. Maybe he'll want to stay there as a backup. Who knows? But at least gives him a chance to grow and develop. Wouldn't be my first choice, but Philly's not a bad organization for that, so who knows? So, total show of turnover. And then, where the story gets even more intriguing, which it took another interesting turn, Pittsburgh, just when you think they're done, go out and make a huge blockbuster trade with one of the quarterbacks that was thought to be on the move this year, wasn't sure. The buzz had been around the Chicago Bears since they had the first overall pick in the upcoming draft. Belief is that they will select USC's Caleb Williams. What will they do with Justin Fields? Again, you would think there'd be a lot of interest, and apparently as the story went, from at least coming from Chicago, from the front office, there wasn't. But Pittsburgh made a deal to acquire Justin Fields from the Bears. He will back up, obviously, Russell Wilson. But that's huge for that. That's huge for Pittsburgh, because here's the thing, too. Whether or not Russell Wilson pans out, I think the move for Justin Fields is great. Is he going to be an elite quarterback? Can't say. Kind of got a bad rap when you look at Chicago, because the Bears they're still trying to figure out their identity. They have not been a huge contender since the early 80s. I mean, yes, they made a Super Bowl appearance back in 08, or 07, 08, technically, when you look at the way the calendar works. But they really haven't had much success other than that. And again, I like the move of Pittsburgh. I think it's a great opportunity, and if Justin Fields gets a chance to play at some point, whether that's after Russell Wilson retires or if they move on after this year, he moves on, whatever the case is, I still think it's an interesting move and a very smart one there, because again, Justin Fields being still in his prime and young, they don't have to draft there, and I don't think Pittsburgh has a lot of high draft picks anyway. And then, of course, they added some other great pieces there as well. So, do I think there'll be a huge chance in the division there? I mean, Baltimore is still there. Cincinnati they've had some moves, but they lost some pieces too. Which takes you actually back to Houston. That's another great thing there for C.J. Stroud. Bringing in Joe Mixon from the Bengals, that was a huge trade there. They're adding pieces there, so I think Houston's going to be a team to watch down south. I think Pittsburgh will be in the running. Again, Baltimore's always hard. Baltimore making a huge splash, landing Derrick Henry in free agency, gives Lamar Jackson a legitimate backfield there. So it'll be interesting to see, but awesome moves. I'm trying to think what else has been another big. There's been so many flurries that have gone on. Even some moves that sort of went under the radar in a manner of speaking. It wasn't like news-breaking worthy news, but still kind of slipped by. See if any moves happen today, because obviously it always changes. There's usually a list. Let's see. Yeah, look at this Buffalo clearing out. They cleared out a lot of cap, getting rid of guys like Mitch Morse and who else did they get rid of? Who was Jordan Poyer? Where they released? And there was one other guy. A lot of veterans that were there. Here we go. The big news, which I feel like did we? I don't know. We may have talked about this earlier, but obviously the Kirk Cousins deal was a big move, and I'll just sum it up in short. It's a good move. Atlanta needs a quarterback there. I think it's a risky move for Cousins at this stage of his career, but the only thing I don't love is the contract. They guaranteed him all this money. I don't understand what the appeal is and why you guarantee these guys money for that, but they're locked in. That's an interesting move there. Sam Darnold takes over in Minnesota there. Let's see what some of the moves are as of today. Anything noteworthy? 49ers agreed to a one-year deal with much travel quarterback Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs will back up Brock Purdy there. That's the wrong one. There's no... Let's see, I have to read these because there's no pictures a lot here. Nothing. Chris Conley. Oh, okay, Chris Conley to the 49ers. That's good. Brandon Allen. Oh, he's staying with the Niners. Okay, so they're locked up with their quarterback room. How about Washington? Washington making some huge moves. Austin Eckler from the Chargers signing with the Commanders. The Commanders bringing in Marcus Mariota for stability at quarterback. They're going to draft. I like some of these moves for new head coach Dan Quinn, I think. And there's still time to be tested to see if Washington is legitimate. But other than Philadelphia, I think they have a good chance to compete over there. So we'll have to see. And then, of course, you just never know how the season goes. Everything looks good on paper, but make or break year, I think, for that was the other big move I love from Philadelphia. I knew there was one at the start of the season off. That was like right at free agency. Blockbuster move, the Philadelphia Eagles signing Saquon Barkley away from the New York Giants, the 3-year deal. I like the move for Philly, again, if he stays healthy. But truthfully, I think, and I said this to some Giants fans for that too, it's not much of a loss for the Giants. No disrespect to Saquon. Again, love the move. The Giants went out and signed Devin Singletary away from the Buffalo Bills. If you look at their statistics throughout the season, especially last year, their numbers were identical. And Singletary's leg up on Saquon Barkley, no pun intended, he tends to be healthy. Barkley has not been healthy for the majority of his career. He's already pushing 28 years of age. He's only got a few years left if you go by the average running back age of 30 by the time they retire. But I like what Philadelphia has to offer because they're not exactly a run-heavy first type of offense. So it's a nice compliment for Hurts, who's a mobile quarterback. And again, it's almost like the Derrick Henry for Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. It's just another weapon opportunity. So there is that. I think that's a huge, huge move. And just something that's really, really a big deal for Philly, who's looking to repeat and go back into the playoffs and potentially challenge for a Super Bowl title. So there is that. Interesting moves. A lot of moves happening there. We'll keep up to date with more. We want to do some more stuff, especially with baseball season now coming up. The NBA is winding down. Just want to mention this. A huge shout out to the Boston Celtics, who are cleaning house. There's only a couple games left in the season. They have locked up the first seed, are clearly a favorite to win the NBA title this year, but a lot of things can happen and a lot of injuries can happen, so not willing to stake the farm betting on them yet, but got a huge chance out there, so we'll see how that plans out. We're going to talk more about that later, too. Let's take a short break here. Again, we're not going to go super long tonight, too, just because it's a short night, and obviously I'm flying solo tonight, so I want to get to the main topic of the evening, though, which we're going to talk about after this. I want to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, too, even though I did title it and put it in there. But we're going to dive into this huge breaking news as of yesterday, I think it was, if my math is correct. So we're going to talk about that and finish that for the rest of the evening. That's going to be our topic of discussion because it's such a wild type of story. And yes, everything happens in all major league sports, but this is the one that you would not think would be real. This is one of those, it's a pipe dream. You sprinkle fairy dust on it. You wish upon a star. You throw a mountain of pennies into the wishing fountain, and you're hoping it comes true. But you know in your heart of hearts it can't be a reality. Well, now it very well could possibly be. We're going to dissect and look at that further when we come back. So don't go away. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. Perfect chance. So again, you guys, let's take a short break. Get yourself resituated there. Do what you got to do. Grab a snack if you wish. Use the bathroom. Perfect time. I'm going to take that chance to take a break as well. And then we'll come back. We'll dive into it. Breaking news coming to the NFL. Although I don't think it actually hit. It's been listed, but it hasn't. I don't think made huge headlines. And we're going to dissect it too by explaining. I'll give you my thoughts on it, and we'll dig further to see, try to interpret the news, take it apart bit by bit, and see what we can make. See if we can paint it right and maybe guess what could happen there. So stick around for that. I'm going to pause our fire here so that doesn't go out. I'll keep it stoked. We're good to go. Plenty more to come here at the What's Up Bro Sports Show. So glad to be here with you guys on this beautiful weekend. And again, we'll be back regularly starting next weekend. As you guys know, too, I'm in the process of moving to a new studio location, which will afford us the opportunity to record more episodes. We're going to try to get more content out. That's the goal. And, of course, keep up to date. We are waiting to get the launch going. We're still working on it. I know he's been really busy. But check out Mr. J's show, the Sanitarium Show, now proudly on the J&J Production Studios network. You guys can catch that here. We're going to get some more episodes uploaded from the best of from the shows he has done. And they will be going live soon, letting us know when they want to do that. And you can listen to them exclusively here at J&J Production Studios, your number one home for entertainment. We'll be right back for more right after this. Stay tuned. Do not go away. You don't want to miss what's coming up next.
Hey audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, do you love podcasts? Are you having difficulty finding the right ones to listen to? Is it frustrating when you're trying to pick that show? You know, the one where everyone must collectively agree on? Like finding a good movie or TV show to watch, do you look for the most jam-packed entertainment that's possible to find in a single episode every week? Then search no more, and welcome to J&J Production Studios. It's our business to provide the best entertainment and information available for you. Whether you're sitting in that comfy chair with your favorite snack and beverage listening live each week, or downloading your favorite show episodes to take with you on the go while you're at work, exercising, or even just to play at night for you to fall asleep to. There's something for everyone, no matter what size, shape, or age you are. Visit www.linktree.com/J_J Production Studios to find all the streaming services where our podcast shows can be found. You can also connect with us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can join our public Discord server and chat directly with us. But wait, there's more. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel and be notified every time a new show is broadcast. Wish you could have some studio souvenirs or collectibles? Guess what? You can. Visit the official store where you can purchase items featuring your favorite podcast and show hosts. Would you like to help support us? You can do that by getting your very own exclusive membership on our Patreon account. All proceeds go to help us upgrade our shows, which will only enhance the entertainment provided to you. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as an audience. Your love and support are always appreciated. We'll see you soon.
Break time is over. We're so glad you stayed tuned. Now back to the action as the show is set to resume.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. A little extra commercial time just to do a few things. We try to consolidate and maximize our time while minimizing our effort and trying to get as much done as physically possible, just, well, because. You guys know when you multitask, you try to get as much done and take every opportunity that you possibly can to do so. If you're just tuning in, though, welcome. This is the What's Up Bros Sports Show. I am Sam Crow, of course, as always, the one and only. So glad to have you guys joining us. Big Hoss not feeling well, so he's off tonight, so no regular show. Decided to, been wanting to get another episode of the sports show out, so perfect opportunity. I'm sure you guys won't mind. And, of course, we're going to be doing more content as we develop things further. Again, just to preface before the commercial break there, moving to a new studio space. We've been sharing this on the main show too, but once we do that, we'll have opportunity to record and get more content out fairly regularly for you guys, which is going to be awesome. Before we get into the main story, I forgot a couple other side notes. One, big news, the breaking story actually, the death of former NFL player O.J. Simpson, who died age 76. I believe they said he had cancer. Huge thing there going on. So that had happened in the NFL this week as well. So now, without further ado, let's jump into it and say right away, oh my gosh, breaking news. Now, not necessarily saying this is a definite. We're going to go through this story. We're going to pick this apart. I'm going to share this with you at all. So, Tom Brady. Yes, the Tom Brady, the GOAT, recently appeared on the show, the Deep Cut podcast with host Vic Blends. I've not heard much of the show. I didn't know much about it until I saw this article where apparently they do haircuts and stuff and they get celebrity haircuts. I guess it's a thing. I don't know. There's a thing for anything nowadays, so it's not shocking. Finally, they released it. This released on Thursday this week, just a couple days ago. And the full episode I actually watched today to get the kind of the ins and outs of it. But there was a specific section of the show that was the most interesting and caught the most attention around the world, and we're going to dump into this now. So I'm taking this excerpt from ESPN. This is from an article just because it kind of sums it up greatly. We're going to dive into this. But during the podcast, at one point in the latter part of the show, Vic Blends had brought up the topic with Tom Brady. Just for fun, he said, God forbid anything happens. If a team would call Tom Brady in the event of an injury to their starting quarterback, would Tom Brady answer the phone call? Tom Brady said without hesitation, I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if they are going to let me if I become an owner of an NFL team. I'm always going to be in good shape. I'm always going to be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit, like MJ, meaning Michael Jordan, NBA legend, coming back, I don't know if they would let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Wow. Let that sink in for a moment. All right. I wish I had better sound effects for this, but well, let's do this part. What does this mean? Think about this here. In such a short phrase, which will probably go down around the words heard around the world, almost as big as when Tom Brady announced his retirement on Instagram the first time, the 9 pages that he wrote. And then, of course, earlier last year, it's been a year now already, February, Tom Brady announced his retirement from the NFL, not playing for the first time in 23 years, did not play the 2023 season last year, and said in a statement he was retiring, quote-unquote, for good. It appears he might be having some second thoughts. Now, this is very, I don't want to say vague is not the appropriate term. How do we interpret this? Well, people could say Tom's joking. Tom is very smart. He does know what he says, goes on the airway and does it. What do I think? I've been a big Tom Brady fan. I shared this, broke up the news with you guys before when he did retire. People close to me always ask me this. They think I actually know him that well, but I don't. But what does it mean? Do I think he's serious? First of all, do we think he's serious? based on the plethora of the conversation, now he went on to say, I gotta note this, and I think there's another part in the article there where, and actually, let's go further with this. Lenz proposed the 49ers, who might need a quarterback if Purdy gets hurt. And of course, the story broke that Kyle Shanahan said that they were going to possibly pursue Tom in free agency last year. Tom Brady then threw out the Patriots and the Raiders as possibilities as well before answering and concurring with the 49ers. The other statement that Tom at one point said, "My career and all that's a thing of the past in my mind. I was a gladiator out there, and now my time has moved on. Now it's okay, how can I deliver for my next group of teammates?" So it kind of speaks volumes to the notion that is Tom struggling with the idea. Now, I've said this before, and I said this with Rob Gronkowski when he retired from New England there. You've got to give a guy at least a year off. Now, the situation is completely different given Tom Brady's age. He'll be 47 in August this year, right at the height of the 2024 season when it begins. Could he still play? Absolutely. Now, I've watched a few videos on this, listened to a few different sports analysts comment about this. And I want to kind of pull this together in my own words, kind of thinking about my take on that. Do I think he's definitely serious too about coming late in the season playing? Absolutely. But then the question gets spawned even further. Is it really a subliminal call and cry saying he just wants to play again? Maybe. I know Tom has struggled with, I'm getting older, it's a lot of a grind, it's 18-game season. Does he want to go through training camp again? Of course, there's always exceptions made to that argument where he wouldn't have to go through training camp. But then one could argue on the other hand, he goes to a whole new team that he has no experience with, whole new playbook, etc., like with Tampa Bay. He might need that time. So really, the question mark is, who knows what will happen? Is it fair to say, though, that it's a strong consideration that Tom could play? Absolutely. Again, he had been over this past year adamant that his career was behind him and he moved on, which is a great time to do that. But based on just the knowledge of he could have shot it down quickly, he didn't, speaks a lot of volumes for that. So, I don't know. There's so much behind that, and let's do this. This is going to be for fun. You guys know we like to do this once in a while. Hey, since you're over there, psst. I don't know if she has her. It's Miss Eliza standing. I don't know if she can hear me. Yoo-hoo! In the other room there. Can you hear me? She might have her earbuds in. I'm going to wait till she turns around and get her attention there. Yeah, she got her earbuds in. That's why she can't hear me. When she works around the house, Miss Eliza likes to listen to her music, and not that she ignores and listens to us, but she just likes to be in her own world for that. So I like to pull her in impromptu. You guys know this. Sometimes she enjoys it. Sometimes she backseat drives on these shows. But I want to get it. This is especially a topic of conversation that she could care less about, but I just want to see her thought of it. Once we get her in, I'm just waiting to draw her attention, so we'll think about this for a minute. So, I don't know. This is going to be debated probably up till the football season starts, during the football season. Who knows? And she's not even looking my way. So, all right. I know her answer is probably going to be, I could care less anyway. That's probably what she would say, even if I asked her to do it for fun. But yeah, this is the story for the ages when Tom announced his unretirement the first time. And again, there's no official announcement made. And again, it's not like Tom's jumping for joy going, yeah, I'm going to throw everything away. I have to deal with Fox to be a sportscaster, and I have a chance to own a team, which again, he says, I don't know if they're going to let me, meaning the NFL, because Tom Brady has put a bid in to have a small part ownership of the Raiders organization. And league rules specify you can't be an owner and a player, basically in a nutshell. He could forego that, and he brings up Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had ownership of the Washington Wizards. He forewent that and played 2 seasons coming back to the team. So this is ultimately like the biggest question mark puzzle of all time. And I could say it could go either way. He could be on a roster by the start of the season. He could come in late. I think that's probably a more likelier scenario based on who's available around the league. But I want to break this down, especially because this is another buzz that's happened. Obviously, Tom is getting honored by the Patriots Ring of Honor June 12th of this year. 12, obviously, being Tom's number. He mentions the Patriots there, and I see a lot of people have talked about this in the circular around this, and this is what's interesting. Now, the other 2 parts actually to this conversation are, if Tom comes back late in the season, are you going to go to a team where you could win right away? I think that's the goal. Or do you just want to play just to have fun? I think, I don't know. It could be both. It could be either. I mean, honestly, at this stage, Tom has nothing left to prove, nothing left to gain, but he could just want to have fun for a year. But this is where this gets interesting. Why New England? Well, Bill Belichick isn't there anymore. And as it's been told, I haven't seen the series. I really want to watch the Dynasty on Apple, although Tom Brady had pretty much said this before. It really wasn't fun in New England anymore. And he had the time with Belichick had just come to an end. He's ready to move on, and the relationship just sort of disintegrated, fell apart. But Tom isn't there. Gerard Mayo is now the head coach there. Tom still has a great relationship with the Kraft family. I'm almost 110% positive. And Gerard Mayo is a guy that Tom knows very well. They played together, albeit for a brief amount of time. They still had time together. I think it would be fun for him. I think he would enjoy that, and it would benefit the team there. But why it's interesting to note that is, for a season at least, Tom could do it because New England has the third pick this year. It's been debated, will they take a quarterback? Will they draft a receiver? I think they need to figure that out. Obviously, they moved on from Mac Jones. Jacoby Brissett is there as a stopgap. The theory I heard is they could take Tom, he could play for a year, they could have Drake May, sorry, I think I said Mayo, my bad. I'm thinking of Gerard Mayo. That's a whole different, I can't think of his name. I'm mixing up, O.J. Mayo from the NBA. That's old school. Anyway, Drake May from, I think it's the University of North Carolina. I don't follow college football a lot. You guys can comment if you want anywhere, let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's North Carolina. Seems to be the quarterback of choice if New England goes that route with the third overall pick. Could benefit from sitting behind Tom for a year. Tom would have a chance to have some fun. He could really mentor Drake to take over the next year and could put an end there. So I think that's interesting. But the Belichick time was the most critical part of that, which is why I think Tom has suggested that. So it's worth noting. But I think then the ultimately is it real? Whether or not Tom comes back, we don't know. But is it real? I would say without a doubt, I think it is. And it's so hard to judge that based on, a lot of things can be said. And it's almost like what Rob Gronkowski has done. Playing with fans, teasing about coming back. It could be one of those situations for sure. I just feel like based on, and I've listened to it, I've watched it, I've heard it, I just feel like this has some grain of truth to it. It almost sounds as if Tom is still wrestling with this after a year now. And again, it fits the bill. It fits the mold of you got to give a guy at least a significant amount of time off. I said this initially when Tom announced his retirement back in 2022, which only lasted, I think, 4 months. Give him at least a year. You got to give him time away from the game. Give him time to think. Tom obviously is bacheloring it, living home. He has a new relationship budding. He has his kids and stuff, but his whole outlook on his life has changed too. So maybe that's all changed completely with that in the manner of, rethinking that. And obviously knowing he had said previously he could play till he was 50. A couple more years left, he could do it. So maybe it is now. Maybe the goal for Tom, maybe he got that bug back saying, you know what, maybe 50 is not unrealistic. And lastly here, at least in this, before I think of anything else or two, rule changes have happened quite a bit. The league has become, in my mind, again, some things are great, other things I think are just ridiculous. I've said this to some folks, we've had discussions about it. The right things are going, they should just make the NFL two-hand touch. Because the rules, and I get, are for safety and everything, but there has to be a limit, because really when tackle football does not become tackle football anymore, there's a problem, okay? But with that being said, it just goes to points in favor of Tom could play, because he wouldn't have to worry so much about getting seriously hurt, because nobody can touch him. So as long as you're not going to a team that has a completely horrible offensive line, and again, the Niners make a lot of sense. I said this too. They could be a quarterback away. It makes a lot of sense for Tom mid to late season, because Brock Purdy has been injured before. I don't think he would come in to start the season right away. And obviously with the signing with Dobbs and them, it looks like their quarterback room is pretty much set, but injuries do happen. I think some of these other teams, I agree with some of the other analysts I've heard, I don't think Vegas, I think the Patriots thing could be something, and that would be the cherry on the parfait. And the reasoning being, I think for Tom, it's a chance to go home and a chance to really just finish his career where it started, where he's had the most success. I think that's the ultimate ambition and drive of why the Patriots would be an option there. And again, without Belichick there and under a new regime, I think they could have a lot of fun, and I think that's what Tom is really, if he's seriously considering New England as a possibility, I think that's why. So definitely huge. Like, you think you've heard it all, you think you've heard all these stories going in, but you just don't know, and things just change every day. So this is going to be a constant watch. We're going to monitor this. It's still going to cycle through the news. I'm sure it's going to get picked to death. Everybody and their mothers and grandmothers and dogs and cats are going to give their opinion about this, but the Brady Watch is officially on, folks. We can definitely say that as much as it's not a 100% solid yes, it's definitely not 100% solid no. And when you listen to Tom say it, and the way he says it, speaks with such grace and elegance about it, you know, you could say, is he joking? Is he not? I think there's serious contemplation about it, if nothing else. I'm sure time will go on, we'll get further detail, and we'll get clearer pictures about that, but I really, unlike before, and we said this when Tom retired the first time, I don't think he's fully done. He's I never say never, that was his coin of phrase. Now it's, I'm not opposed to it. So I think Tom Brady just trademarked two of the greatest lines he will ever be associated with him is, never say never, and I'm not opposed to it. Because if you think about it, they're very similar in a manner of speaking. So in retrospect, looking at it, we're almost back to square one when Tom retired the first time, where now he's not sure. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, we have the draft coming up. We have spring training. That's baseball. I'm switching modes here. We have training camp coming up. Preseason comes up, and again, that's why it's critical to get to those points, because that's usually when the injury bug starts happening. So there may be a clear indicator at those points in time whether or not Tom comes back, but we'll keep monitoring it too, because story could change yet again. Who knows what it'll be in the coming days and the coming weeks. We just know facts are facts. Tom is, yes, he's retired, but the whole paperwork thing can be undone, and it can be, overwritten, and it's not hard to come back. Tom's a free agent. Obviously, could go anywhere around the league, to any of the 32 teams if he chose to do so. And he does seem to be in great shape. Is he in football playing shape? Not sure. We know he ran the combine not long ago at the start of the month, and he ran under a better time. He ran at 46 and he did at 23. I'm inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. And if I'm a GM for a team and I'm in that desperate need of a quarterback, I'm giving him a call. What's it going to hurt? He's telling me he'd be willing to take my phone call. So, and then lastly, I want to bring up this point because I heard this. This was I knew there was something else that I drew interest and intrigue of. I heard some analysts use this topic of discussion debate here. Possible motivator of why Tom could play. Now, this has been said before. I want to use this analogy, and I'll explain what kind of gives this legs to the story, gives this traction to it. When the belief was when Tom Brady finally retires, is he going to be content just sitting on the couch watching games at home? Not thinking to himself, I'm better than that guy. I'm better than him. I could still throw better than sure for him. Is he feel like he's have something to prove coming from that angle? Well, it was brought up in this topic of discussion where maybe for Tom, seeing what Joe Flacco did in Cleveland, resurging and giving, Flacco hadn't been in the league playing for a while, and obviously injuries happen and things happen with Cleveland. He had them in the playoffs there. Unfortunately, it was a first-round exit, but I believe, too, now, I got to see if it's official. I don't know if it was. I think Joe Flacco has moved on. The Browns did not bring him back, but I believe there was rumor that he was going to sign somewhere else. And yes, it is. It looks like it's according to this roster, he's on there. He has signed with the Indianapolis Colts to be the backup there, which I think is huge for him. But was that a huge motivation for Tom seeing what Joe Flacco did? And again, amazing success for that at Joe's age. I believe he's going on 39 this year, around the same, like about a year younger than. Yeah, he just turned, in January, he turned 39. So he's a year younger than Aaron Rodgers coming in. Obviously, Tom's a lot older, but better shape. So maybe was that enough to get the itch to really for Tom to scratch it? I don't know. Time will tell. Again, if Tom suits up, no matter if that's before the season, during the season, at the end of the season, we will have to wait and see. But overall, I think we can all agree and conclude of the fact that at the end of the day, is this a real possibility, and could this really happen? I have to say yes. I can't say percentage-wise. I don't think it's a high percentage, at least right now, but it's more so than you would think. It's definitely got that vibe of uncertainty and doubt because Tom Brady purposely has done that. But I don't think he's doing it to mess with people. I think he was genuinely being truthful about it. I think, maybe being away for a while, maybe starting to have mixed reactions, mixed feelings, enough to start pulling him back in. Don't know. But time will tell. We'll be following this. We'll keep posted on that as well. Probably do another episode here of the sports show at some point to cover that. But huge breaking story nonetheless, because I know it's tugging at my heartstrings just when I'm ready to move on and go in. I'm like, no, there's a chance he could play again. But it would be great. And lastly, I'll say this, because there's been debate. Could he, should he, would he, does he need to, etc. Tom can do what he wants. I've heard this debate. It could tarnish his legacy. It's not going to tarnish that. Tom's done what he's done. He's, I'd say like with Favre and guys like Montana that have done it well, he's earned the right to do it. If he really wants to play and get happiness, whether that's to compete for a championship, which he's always done, whether that's to have fun, just to play for the sake of playing, to have a good time, or both. I mean, it could be all of those. He's earned that right. He's earned the opportunity to be able to afford to do that. It's just a matter of what's most important to him, obviously, at this point, because with the looming deal to be a part owner in the NFL and his huge contract that he did sign with Fox Sports. Now, all of those things can be postponed. Even Fox Sports has said this deal was put in place, I believe it was during what we now know was technically Tom's final season in the NFL. The deal was put in place, and Fox Sports Network had said they are not in a rush. It's for whenever Tom decides he's done playing. So they are not in a hurry to push him into the booth. So they can wait. I'm sure ownership can be held off as well. So it just comes down to Tom. What does he want to do? Does he think he can play another year or two? Does he want to play another year or two? Before he can finally say, you know what, I'm past that. I'm past the horizon now. I'm the greener pastures where I can't do it anymore. Maybe I want to try at least one or two more times just to kind of see. We'll have to find out. But either way, definitely interesting food for thought. It's going to be fluttering all over social media. I'm sure there's already been thousands of comments and videos made about this. There'll be more. We'll keep you guys posted. We'll try to keep up to date with that. If you guys hear anything, of course, as well, let us know. We'd love to hear it. But we will be following this story closely. Could be. That's why we titled the episode The Return of the GOAT. Almost like Return of the King. But not to put that in there. Find a twist on it. The NFL legend who was the face of the NFL for so long could be making a small comeback. Who knows? I say small, not as a big one, and not going to play for another 5 or 10 years. But even another season or two, and again, if you'd love to see Tom play, and if he can still play at a high level, which I think he can. Last season in Tampa showed that. They didn't have a great year as a team, but Tom's numbers were pretty good. I think will be interesting to see. So, what do you think will happen? We might have a poll at this later on. I actually might add this on. I think we have a polling on. I think we can do it on Twitter or Twitter X, and on YouTube community channel chat. We'll put this out later on, maybe tomorrow at some point. Simply put, will Tom Brady be playing in 2024? We don't know when, where, why, how. Just simple yes or no, just to get a general feel for that. I think the question posted out in most places was, should he be playing or will he play? I feel like the percentage was highly that he will. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But we're all diverse. We all have differences of opinions, and so I'd love to hear from you guys as well. But keep you posted, keep you up to date on that. It's a great thing to ponder over the weekend, but just don't stress yourselves about it. We will get more details as they come. But that's pretty much going to do it for the episode for tonight, you guys. We'll cover more. We're going to have more stuff coming out, more episodes from ASMR Nighttime Sleep. Big Hoss wants to feature mental health. We're going to talk about that and more. Law and Justice Show will be back up and running. I'm going to be working on that. And, of course, chilling with me, Colorado Music and live streaming. The Game Corner we're going to have coming out as well. All kinds of fun things. We are constantly getting things going in the studio here, which dubs as our science factory, trying to come up with new concepts, new ideas. Of course, you guys know we have our special episodes coming up. The summer is going to be coming up soon. Great holidays for that, as well as our seasonal episodes in the fall and the wintertime. Always looking forward to that, to bang out the year, close it out. But plenty more opportunities to come there. Hope you guys will tune in for more. Remember, check us out next weekend. We'll be back for more What's Up Bro podcast show, our main show, Friday and Saturday night. You can catch episodes 10 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you guys there as well. We'll keep you guys posted. Follow us. Check us out. Linktree.com/J_J Production Studios. If you're not following us across social media, do it now. Again, we'll take guys anytime you want to be here. We love to have you all. Come join us there. You'll get the latest there. And of course, check out the website. We'll be posting on blogs for updated things, especially big news that comes out that we want to share with you guys. You can catch it there. That's available to you all as well. We'll make sure we follow up and do that. Lots of great things to come. Lots of craziness. Always a good time. And hopefully always entertaining, because we want to be your number one source for entertainment, and we hope we can provide that for you all. That's going to do it here, guys. That's the final buzzer. Actually, I should say that's the final bell. Signaling the end of the game. Thank you guys so much for being here as always. And again, not always though we plan, but we always have opportunities to mix things up a little bit so that we always can have something there, so that we don't have nothing, which we don't like to do, and hopefully not have to do anytime soon, because it's just not fun to do that. So we are back better than ever, and we hope you guys will continue on this journey with us. Love you guys so much. There's been a lot of great turnouts. Had a lot of help, a lot of traffic coming our way, and again, we couldn't do this, and we wouldn't do it without all of you, so we're so grateful and appreciative to every single one of you who's here, and who potentially would join us in the future. We're always looking to grow our family, and you guys are one of us if you come here. Always part of this great group that we have, and we love you all for that. So, for all of us here at J&J Production Studios, of course, as always, I'm Sam Crow, and for Big Hoss and all of our other friends that help us out there, we wish you all a wonderful and fabulous rest of your weekend. Please be happy, be healthy, and be safe. The weather's been crazy, temperature-wise. Again, everybody's getting sick, hot, cold, left, right. Hopefully the weather will get it straight at some point. We're going to go right into summer, I feel. But take care of yourselves. Take care of your fellow man. Don't go out if you're sick. And by all means, too, if you have children or friends or people, other family members, don't let them go out if they're sick either, please. We really don't want to get anybody sick. We want everybody to be healthy. We wish Big Hoss a speedy recovery. Hope he will be back with us soon. And, yeah, that's going to do it. So, happy Saturday to you all. If you're watching any sports, I think there's some NBA games going on tonight. Keep your eye on that. Baseball season is in flux. We're going to cover more of that as the year goes on. It's just, obviously, when news breaks in the NFL, we have to share it, and this was a huge story that we could not let go. Again, it's been everywhere, but we want to continue the media flow and make sure we share it with you guys in case you missed it. So, there you go, and there you have it. We will keep you posted there as well. We'll see you guys again very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Good night and goodbye for now. And of course, you guys know, and as always, until next time, when we see you guys at the show. Have a great one, you all. See you very, very soon.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Be sure to check J&J Production Studios on Linktree for all the streaming services and social media accounts where our shows are featured. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, until next time, we'll see you at the show.